Morning, you guys. Hope everyone's doing well. We're going to pick up where we left off yesterday. Remember, we're still talking about Reconstruction, the time directly after the Civil War. And we took a brief look at kind of an overview yesterday, as well as got a quick look at the first of our primary sources, which was from Thaddeus Stevens. Remember, he was a member of the Radical Republican Party, which, again, at this time, radical is just extreme, right? It doesn't mean necessarily good, necessarily bad. Okay, but that party led by Thaddeus Stevens was looking for major changes in the country after the Civil War. Okay, so that was what we talked about yesterday. Okay, and that's what you should have been working on in your packet as of yesterday. Remember, that entire packet is due on Sunday. Okay, so make sure we're keeping up on that. Were there any questions from what we went over yesterday before we move on to the document by President Andrew Johnson today? Any questions based on what we went over yesterday, or if you weren't able to tune in yesterday, any questions? Okay, from there. Okay, that's fine. Remember, if you do have any questions or have a comment to make, just put it right there in the stream, and I will answer it as best I can. Okay, so you should still have out the packet that was on your Google Classroom. Remember, it's the Reconstruction era packet, 1865 to 1877. Still have that out. We're going to be going over the first of the primary sources from Andrew Johnson today. Okay, so please scroll down to that in your packets. Now, Andrew Johnson was a Democrat. Remember, he is from Tennessee, so he stayed with the Union during the Civil War, but he is a Democrat, okay, which the majority of the South was, and he is from a southern state as well, Tennessee. So he is going to become president after Lincoln is assassinated. He stays president from 1865 to 1869. So what we're going to read right now is an excerpt or part of one of his campaign speeches that he's going to give in September 1866 in Cleveland, Ohio. Okay. In the speech, he's going to discuss the Freedmen's Bureau. Okay, and we will get to the Freedmen's Bureau probably a little bit more next week. Okay, but as an overview, the Freedmen's Bureau is a federal agency, right? It's created by the federal or national government, and it's designed to help former slaves, okay, to become educated and to get jobs. Okay, so that's its purpose. Radical Republicans like Thaddeus Stevens, who we read about yesterday, okay, are supporting additional funding for the Freedmen's Bureau, right? They want to give the Bureau more money so that it can do their job better, right? It can help more former slaves and do a better job of what it's doing. Okay, and we're going to see what Andrew Johnson thinks about it. Before the Civil War, there were 4 million black people held as slaves by about 340,000 people living in the South. That is, 340,000 slave owners paid all the living expenses of the slaves. Then the war began and the slaves were freed. Now to the Freedmen's Bureau bill. What was it? 4 million slaves were emancipated and given an equal chance and fair start to work and produce. But the Freedmen's Bureau comes and says we must take charge of these 4 million slaves. The Bureau comes along and proposes at a cost of $12 million a year to take charge of these slaves. You already spent $3 billion to set them free and give them a fair opportunity to take care of themselves. Then these radical Republicans, who are such great friends of the people, tell us they must be taxed $12 million to sustain the Freedmen's Bureau. And again, this is from a speech that Andrew Johnson gave on September 3rd in 1866 in Ohio. Okay. So Andrew Johnson is very much against the Freedmen's Bureau, right? He is not a fan of it. He thinks that the government should not be paying for it. In his opinion, right, we already spent an enormous amount of money and a long time fighting to free the slaves. And he thinks that's it. The job's done. Okay, they're free. They should be able to take care of themselves, right? He says they are emancipated, right, which means that they're free. They now have an equal chance and a fair fair start to do work. So they have a chance, they need to get a job, they can do it for themselves. They don't need any help from the government. Okay, that's what Andrew Johnson is saying. He says it's too expensive to help them anyway. Says, no, we've done enough already. Okay, we don't need to do any more. Yeah. As we saw yesterday, Thaddeus Stevens and the radical Republicans disagree, right? They want to support the newly freed African Americans, make sure that they have a real opportunity to get going, right? And to be able to create for themselves. They think that if they're just left on their own, they're going to get taken advantage of by their former owners, right? And they're not going to have a real fair shot at a start at freedom. Okay, so we're seeing the difference of opinions, which again we talked about a little bit yesterday. These big questions about how are we going to treat all these newly freed slaves, right? It's 4 million people. That's a lot of people that we need to figure out how to incorporate in a new way into society in the United States. Okay, so it's a big question facing the country at this time. Were there any questions from this document? Any words, phrases, things we don't understand, questions we have about where Johnson's coming from, about where the radical Republicans are coming from? No? Okay. So there are only a few of us here today. So I'm going to give you guys the option. Okay, so I'll need you to comment in a second. Would you like to go through the second Andrew Johnson document right now? Okay, and this is the last primary source for this packet. Or would you prefer that we just have another session tomorrow? Okay, we can do it either way, but I believe there are 4 of you out there right now, so I want to get your votes. Okay, what do you guys think? Would you rather just do it right now, or we can put that off until tomorrow? It's fine either way. Completely up to you. Let's go. I need you guys to vote. Okay, well, no one voted, so we're just going to come back to it tomorrow. Okay, so this is going to be it for today. We looked at the first of the Andrew Johnson documents. Okay, we'll come back to the last primary source for this one tomorrow. Yes, Valeria. Okay, good to see you too. Got my quarantine haircut, going a little clubber wang. Okay, gonna go meet up with the A-team later. All right. So remember, this whole packet, all the guiding questions and the CER paragraph at the end, okay, need to be completed by Sunday. Okay, that is when it's due. We'll go over the third primary source tomorrow, same time on the YouTube channel. Okay. If you guys can't make it at that time, that's fine. It'll get posted to the YouTube channel afterwards, after we're live. Okay. So that will be there for those of you who can't make it at the regular time. Okay. Make sure we're keeping up on the work. You're keeping up on your record of our times, right? That journal that you guys are working on. Okay, that is due in less than 2 weeks now. Okay, that's going to be the last big thing that is due this year. Right, that's going to be the last heavily weighted assignment for us. Also, your president's test is on Monday. Okay, that is coming up. Okay, so making sure we are ready for that. Yeah. Sorry, Val, it's going to take a little while for it to grow back. Okay. Any last questions? Oh, sorry. All right, Meadow, for the record of our times, you can go back and look at what was happening on those days, right? It doesn't need to be a lot, but you should be writing a little bit every day. Okay, it's supposed to be a daily journal. Okay, so try and think back to what was going on those times. You can look at the news to research kind of what was going on each of those days. It's going to be a little more challenging now if you missed a lot of them. Make sure we are all also taking portfolio seriously. Okay, I know not all of you are in my house class, okay, but you should all be getting feedback from your house teachers on the essays you submitted, and then you need to decide whether you're going to resubmit the essay or you're going to do a video presentation. Okay, and yes, Meadow, it's anything that's going on in the world, okay, during the time, right? It's a daily journal, kind of what's going on, right? And the directions are all on it as well. Okay, so you can take a closer look. If you have specific questions, go ahead and reach out. Any last questions before we end this one for today? All right. So we're going to wrap this up then. Okay. Have a good rest of your day. Let's see. Yes, Sam, that is just fine. Okay. Personally, as well as what's going on in the world and how what's going on in the world is affecting you personally. Yes, that sounds perfect. Yeah. All right. As always, if you guys have any questions, you feel free to email me, to comment on the YouTube channel, to comment on Google Classroom. Okay. I'm available as many ways as possible. And we'll have another session here tomorrow to go over the second Andrew Johnson document, and then tutoring will be on Friday as normal. Okay. So hope you guys are doing well. Hang in there, and I will hopefully hear from you guys tomorrow. And bye. Have a good day.